Our latest book, which we are just preparing to take to market, is called Connect. And it really deals with three specific challenges that are very much part of every leader's challenge right now, in this moment, in the latter half of 2009. And that is, as we express in the subtitle of the book, how to restore trust, how to regain momentum, and how to re-energize productivity in an organization. After more than a quarter century of both building companies and working with leaders who are engaged in both the building and running of companies of all sizes, I have become very interested in how to simplify what I believe is the art of leadership. There's certainly a certain amount of science to it, some things you can learn, but a lot of it is instinctive. A lot of it can be taught, but what needs to be taught, I think, is sometimes really clouded in a lot of theory and a lot of unnecessary, at least in my experience, complexity. And so Connect really tries to cut through some of that and ask the question, if I was a leader today, or a young leader, developing myself to be worthy of the opportunity to lead, what skills would be most critical to my success and to the success of my team and our organization? Connect proposes that there are three things you really need to do to successfully lead. You need to first connect to people. Second, connect to purpose. And third, connect priorities to both purpose and people. Now, by connect to people, we talk about in the book the importance of being trustworthy. One of the questions I ask leaders all the time is, of all the things you've been told leaders need to be successful, what is the one thing that is non-negotiable, that no matter what perspective you take or what experience you have, has to be in place? People struggle with this and throw a lot of different ideas, all of which have real value, but ultimately they come to this understanding. The one thing leaders need to lead is they need followers. Because without followers, you look crazy. I want you to imagine yourself that for some reason you have developed this angst that you're never asked to lead the 4th of July parade in your community. And so you decide that you're going to just simply take this into your own hands. And so that morning you get up early, you take the flag that's hanging off the front of your porch down, and you march yourself down to Main Street, plant yourself on the center stripe, and begin to march down the street, no one behind you. You look nuts, you look crazy, because you have no followers. The one thing we need, if we are going to lead, is we need followers. And the question becomes, who do people follow? Will they follow bad leaders? Will they follow evil leaders? And the answer, both historically and if you look around you today at the world we live in, is they will follow bad leaders. They will follow evil leaders if they are threatened in some way or manipulated in some way. But the challenge is, beyond the ethics of it, in being a threatening or a manipulative leader, is that it's not sustainable. Over time, dictators are brought down. Over time, demagogues are exposed. In the meantime, of course, they create a great amount of pain and suffering, but they cannot endure. And so the question becomes not only how do I get people to follow me, but how do I get people to follow me in an ethical, moral, and sustainable way? And the answer from experience is people follow leaders they trust. Now we get to the second conundrum, and that is, well, how do I get people to trust me? Because this is a philosophical chicken and egg conversation. People will say, well, you need to trust me. And that person will say to you, I will when you prove you're trustworthy. Now, philosophically, when we don't have the demands of business to worry about, we can argue for generations about what comes first, trust me or be trustworthy. But because we're in the practical business of running organizations, we cannot afford the luxury of time. And so I choose to ask a practical rather than a philosophical question, and that is, in this chicken and egg relationship between trust and trustworthiness, what do I have the greatest control over? Well, I have greater control over changing myself than I have over even persuading another person. And so trustworthiness becomes the focus of the first section of Connect. By becoming trustworthy, I develop a connection to people that creates an environment where they want to follow, where they want to develop and invest their own genius, their own skills, everything they have to offer into their success and ultimately our success. When trust is high, engagement is high. When engagement is high, we bring together the great power of a group of minds, a group of passions, a group of invested skills and talents. And so the first key to being a great leader and to pulling an organization out of the morass it may very well be in today is to become the kind of person that can be trusted, and to use that as a foundation to connect to the great people in your organization so that collectively you can restore, regain, and re-energize your organization. Next week we'll talk a little bit about some of the things we can do to become more trustworthy in a measurable, substantial, and usable way.